Hey folks, this edition of Low Rent Radio is brought to you by Transmission Center for the Arts. And it's located at Rancagua 574 in Santiago, and you can find them at transmission.cl. Okay, folks, here we are again, another edition of Low Rent Radio, and thanks a lot to everyone in Transmission for putting this thing together. We're doing this out of Now Recording Studios in the Transmission Entertainment Complex, a huge, massive bunker in the middle of Providencia, percolating and overflowing with art and culture and all kinds of smelly people and with tattoos and all kinds of stuff going on here, man. You would just have a metaphysical sort of weird creative experience just by walking by this building in Providencia and Santiago. So we got to thank them. Today's program, we have Jorge Coulon. Holy smokes, man. I was like kind of nervous getting here and waiting for him. I was, this guy, Jorge Coulon, he's been in the band Inti-Illimani for almost 50 years, like half a century of a band. Half a century. I don't know many other bands that can say that. 1966 to 1967. These guys started out. They do folk music, It's like a lot of voices, a lot of singing, and I knew this guy was also a politician, a writer. He is involved in a lot of things out in the on the coast in Valparaiso. So I was a bit nervous. He's a bit of a staple in Chilean folklore and music history. So I was honored to interview him today, and thought, holy smokes, what are we gonna talk about? But lo and behold, you don't really have to ask these guys too many questions. Although I did, but they just have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stories and so it was really great to talk to Jorge. And another thing that made me nervous was that, when you listen to Inti-Illimani, you can go on YouTube and hear like almost their entire back catalog. They have 2 zillion albums in their catalog. What you hear is a lot of like pan flute and mandolin, and for me, the pan flute, I used to like the pan flute a lot when I heard it, but then when I got to Chile 15 years ago, I was always taking the bus. I was always taking the bus through Santiago, going here, going there. I was like living on buses. So one of the things in Santiago that you will know if you come here is you get on a bus and then somebody gets on the bus with a guitar, or a clown gets on, or some entertainer gets on and starts doing something, They start doing something, and maybe they do something right beside you. Like somebody might just start blaring, doing a karaoke thing and put the karaoke speaker right next to your head while you're sitting there going to your, reading a book or something, trying to chill out. So what always happened with me was when I was taking the buses, people got on always with the pan flutes, the pan flute buskers. They would always go next to my head and start playing the pan flute really freaking loud in my ear. So when I started to listen to Inti-Illimani this week and do some research for this interview, I started to get this feeling about I had an aversion, you know, I had an aversion to the pan flute, man. And well, holy crap, man! I was like, how am I gonna talk to this guy when I really hate like one of the main instruments in this music? So, well, you know, after listening to quite a bit of the thing about Inti-Illimani is there's a really strong lyrical content. It's really powerful. If you understand the Spanish, it's very positively driven. It's about, you know, politics and being united with people and across different borders and multicultural. You know, it's just a really deep experience, the music they have. So there's 50 years of it, man. There's a lot of it here. So we're gonna play some of it through the program while we talk to Jorge. And man, if you don't like the pan flute, it's okay, man. I'm with you. I'm not a big, you know, I'm still not the hugest fan, but I think after this program, I was like, okay, you know, Jorge, there's more to a guy than the instruments. Oh, well, Jorge plays the guitar, so it doesn't matter. And I'm just babbling on here. Low Rent Radio, people. Thanks for coming out again. Thanks for listening. We're recording from Now Recording Studios, and this is going to be a great program. So stay with us, take a seat, and I'll be taking care of you to the end of this. Thanks for coming out. Jorge Coulon.
Yes.
Wow, man. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And what kind of car did you drive? What type of car?
Mazda.
A Mazda.
Yes.
Nice. Efficient.
Yes, it's efficient.
I was gonna say
It's
if
a
you're a
good-
Volkswagen.
It's my. No, it's my wife's car.
Good. You do many things, right?
Yes, too much.
Too many.
Yes.
So you're a musician.
Well, musician
obviously.
in the group, and now I'm in charge with the Parque Cultural in Valparaíso. It was
Okay.
the ex jail, Valparaíso's jail.
The old jail.
It's become and become a cultural center.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Does it still? I haven't been there. Does it still look like and feel like a jail?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and people in Valparaiso feel still the place like a jail.
It has a jail energy.
Yes, but now it's a jail for the people who is outside.
Yeah.
Our problem is
jail-
our problem now is invite people to come in.
The inmates are
Yes,
outside,
yes,
right?
yes.
That's a good concept. You're also politically active.
Yes, but always around the same,
Right.
around the same argument, culture, art.
Yeah.
And the city, because Valparaiso is a really special city, and I was running in politics because to save the city from buildings and speculation.
That whole Santiago is really booming in terms
Yes,
of real estate and development, and that hasn't happened in Valparaiso.
Well, we are fighting against, but happen.
It's happening.
But the appetite is there. The pressure of real estate is so big.
Right.
Yes.
Right. What do you think when you come in? You're from Talca, right?
No, from Temuco.
Temuco. I'm
Yes,
sorry. I
from
always
Temuco.
get Talca mixed up. It's just because it's the T, right?
Yes.
My mistake. I'm sorry. But you when you came here to Santiago in the 60s.
No, I came when I was child in the 50s.
In the 50s.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, my family was always coming and going to the south.
Yeah.
For me, the Santiago was the school.
Okay.
Every free time was Temuco and Victoria, the south of Chile.
All right.
Yes, but I grew up in Santiago.
You did.
Yes.
And what part of Santiago?
Near here.
Right here.
Near here. Yes, 10 blocks from here.
So in what area specifically?
In Miguel Claro.
Okay. All right.
Where the Italian embassy is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Blanca Elena Blanco.
Elena Blanco, yes. Elena Blanco is the continuation of Clemente Fabres.
Oh, okay.
Yes, this is my...
I lived on Elena Blanca, or what is it?
Yeah, Elena Blanco.
I lived
Yes.
on those old houses, the brown stone.
Yes, yes.
I lived in one of those, maybe 8 years ago,
Yeah.
and now, I mean, I can't. It's difficult to rent anything in that area. You can.
Yes.
Did you think living back in those days, living in that area in the 50s and 60s, that Santiago would be so crazy expensive and so?
No, at that time, no.
Yeah.
No. Well, my family is a middle class family. My father was a professor in the university.
Yeah.
And was, but the neighborhood was so there were variety of people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you ever think that one day this will be so expensive?
No.
That
I never imagined.
I'd never be able to.
Yes.
So you ran in for concejal in 1996.
I ran for mayor in 1996.
for the mayor?
Yes.
Okay.
Then in I don't remember exactly when, in the
2008.
2008, yes,
Yeah.
I ran for concejal. And last election I ran for Congress.
Okay.
remember. Yes.
Well, and what was that experience like for you? And well, you
Well, for
didn't.
me, it's so funny. Everybody complained that it's so hard. For me, it was wonderful.
Well,
Wonderful to speak with people,
Yeah.
with well, discuss about the situation in Chile, about the situation of Valparaiso.
yeah.
Meet people for me is
Do you think
it's
you
not
have
hard.
you have a lot of do you think you have a lot of you have to make a lot of enemies, I suppose, if you take on if you start fighting developers.
Well, I don't know if enemies. I don't know if I have enemies. But in Chile, if you do something, you have some enemies. You must begin with. If you anything you do
If you don't have
for
any
the, for
enemies,
the only fact to do that, you have some enemies.
and if you don't have enemies, you're doing something wrong, maybe.
Well, yes.
That
Yes.
it's interesting. I love Valparaiso. Like I like Valparaiso because for the reasons I think you like, it has a cultural feel, but it's also it has it's one of the few cities in Chile that have I feel like it has dirt under its nails. You know, I always
Yeah,
say
it's true.
it
Yes.
feels like a real place, like a real city
Yes.
with a real history.
Well, but the problem with now is UNESCO patrimonial.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And the danger this is to become a sort of scenography.
Yeah, right.
This
Like
is the risk. Yes.
the cultural heritage as a cultural heritage site,
Yes.
which
Yes.
it was proclaimed, I think, when in 2007, something like that.
2007. Yes.
Yeah. So it would be basically use the background for Hollywood or
Yes.
Or
yes,
something
yes.
like that.
Only people think that it's only about pretty houses. And,
Right.
It's much more than that.
yeah, yeah. And so you ran again. You ran 3 times. Do you think you're going to?
Yes, 3 times.
Can you?
I have never won.
So does that really suck? Like when you don't win, you like, oh,
No,
man.
no, no, because maybe the second time,
Okay.
because the first time I was sure that I had no chances.
Right.
At that time, I was practically me and another few people was speaking about patrimony, about Save Valparaiso,
Yeah.
about stop real estate.
Yeah.
And that was my campaign. And at that time, many people thought that progress is to have buildings and that.
Right.
Now there is another conscience.
Okay.
But at that time, we were pioneers in this. Yes.
You could use Santiago as an example
Yes.
of what happened.
And last time I knew that was so difficult because the binomial system that we had, we choose only two
Options.
two options,
Right.
and I arrived in the 3rd place.
Okay.
Was surprisingly.
Yeah,
Surprisingly, I arrived in the 3rd place, but far from because to win, the two parliamentary,
Yeah.
you must have the 66% of votes,
66.
the list,
Oh man.
and
Okay.
this you can choose two. If not, you one right hand and one left hand.
That's crazy. It's really hard then.
It's crazy, yes. But I arrived in 3rd place, so close with the second,
That's pretty good.
but far of the 66% that we need to have to
That's
elect.
amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing. Well, we're gonna take a little music break here, and we'll be right back talking with Jorge Coulon from Inti-Illimani.
calle de la desilusión es gris y soñolienta. Por la vereda del desamor solo se anda de vuelta. La calle de la desilusión, sin luz en las ventanas, es más un lóbrego callejón, sin ayer ni mañana. En calle de la desilusión, más temprano que tarde, mueren de tedio y de decepción los amores cobardes. La calle de la desilusión tiene un solo sentido: balcones sin flores de estación y palomas sin nido. Tal vez ser feliz no sea quimera, tal vez partillar el corazón. Camino mirando la otra acera, por si deseado alumbra el sol. Tal vez ser feliz no sea quimera, tal vez partillar el corazón. Camino mirando la otra acera, por si deseado alumbra el sol. En calle de la desilusión no hay guitarras que trinen, no hay caminante que sirve un son, ni poemas que rimen. La calle de la desilusión, con su luz mortecina, apaga el fuego y a la pasión la convierte en rutina. En calle de la desilusión, las canciones marchitan, los versos que ayer dictó el amor en el fuego gravitan. Tal vez ser feliz no sea quimera, tal vez partillar el corazón. Camino mirando la otra acera, por si deseado alumbra el sol. Tal vez ser feliz no sea quimera, tal vez partillar el corazón. Camino mirando la otra acera, por si deseado alumbra el sol. Tal vez ser feliz no sea quimera, tal vez partillar el corazón. Camino mirando la otra acera, por si deseado alumbra el sol. Tal vez ser feliz no sea quimera, tal vez partillar el corazón. Camino mirando la otra acera, por si deseado alumbra el sol. Camino mirando la otra acera, por si deseado alumbra el sol. Tal vez ser feliz no sea quimera, tal vez partillar el corazón. Camino mirando la otra acera, por si deseado alumbra el sol.
Oye, al que le tocó, le tocó.
Atraviesa, chicha,
Del
atraviesa.
sur al norte.
And we're back with Jorge Coulon from Inti-Illimani, and talking a little bit about politics and the music. Wow, 1967 you guys started. I mean, that's how long ago? I can't do the math. It's like 30, 40. How old am I? Oh, that's 48 years.
48, yes, yes.
Almost 50 years.
In 17, we will have the half century.
So that's really insane. Is in terms of the music and bands, and when you do interviews, what are some of the things that you get asked most often by people in interviews? What do they ask you? Is there anything that you kind of get sick of being asked?
Well, now many people ask, how do you do to have a group for such a long time?
Half a century.
Yes, but normally many questions about the kind of music that we do.
Yeah.
Because for many years our music was a problem for record stores.
Why was that?
When record stores exist.
Okay, yeah. What are those?
What is this? Yes.
A record store?
Yeah, because we were not folk music, we were not classic music, we were not jazz music, but we were a little bit of everything. But when Peter Gabriel invented the name of world music, finally they found a place for us.
Okay.
But we are not world music exactly.
Not in this region. No, it wasn't considered that. But you guys started with Si Somos Mexicanos in 1967.
Yes.
And when I was listening to that title song the other day, and it seems, I mean, the song, you could be any time, basically. It has a timeless feel, but you can hear that it was very old tech where you recorded this. So where did you record the first album in 1967, and what was that experience like?
Well, we recorded in 1969.
Okay.
The first complete album. Yes.
Okay.
It was in La Paz, in Bolivia.
It was in
Bolivia, yes, in a radio. It was not in a studio, it was in a radio.
Okay.
Yes, in a radio studio.
That's a little bit, so it was all live off the floor?
Yes.
All right. And was the intent to produce an album, like you had a record deal at the time?
Actually we were at that time walking around Latin America to meet musicians, to find instruments, to discovering sounds, and there were a composer and a great arranger.
Yes.
Who was working? Who was living in Chile for a long time, but who was working in this radio in La Paz, and he had the idea there.
Right.
We must record something, and we did, I don't know, in 3 days.
It seemed like a very like quick.
Yes.
But it sounds very good.
Yes.
And you guys had a lot of songs already ready to go.
Yes.
But you started many years before your first album, like quite a few years.
2 years before, yes.
2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you recorded the album. You recorded another album. You started to, you had a very strong ties with Bolivia. You guys.
Yes.
The name Inti-Illimani.
The name came because our first presentation, like Inti-Illimani, was the 6th August, the National Day of Bolivia.
Okay.
Here in Santiago.
All right.
Because we were the only group in Chile who played Bolivian music.
Andean music.
Andean music, yes.
How was that? I mean, was that a good thing? Were you well received? Knowing the relationship between Chile and Bolivia, and
no, we have had never a problem with this. At the same time, we have been always holders of Bolivian cause.
Yeah.
Yes, we think that Bolivia must have access to the Pacific Ocean.
Right.
But in Chile actually there is a lot of nationalism, is true.
Yeah.
But in general, people is so tolerant and open.
In general.
Yeah, in general, yes.
Yeah. And did you find the same in Bolivia?
Yes.
With the people there and
yes. Curiously, we have not played too much in Bolivia.
Okay.
We have been 3 or 4 times. But for instance, we have been, 20 times in Ecuador or in Colombia. Yes.
Do you find that that when people talk about Bolivians hate Chileans and Chileans dislike Bolivians, do you think that that is not very accurate?
I think it's a little bit stupid,
Okay.
but it's a result of there are someone who has interest in to have this spark, have this fire alive.
Yeah.
But real in Bolivia, people, when you speak with them, when you are in contact with them, they don't hate you
Just regular,
because you are Chilean.
yeah,
or not.
regular people don't
Regular,
respond that
no,
way.
It's more complicated here. Chileans are more racist and more complicated in the mentality.
Right.
But in general, it's not like that.
There's a
The
lot more
human
tolerance.
contact. This is my goal also, the challenge. To if people know the other, you can't hate nobody.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you think in people like a group, like a category,
Yeah.
maybe, but people one by one is people.
Face to
It's
face.
like you, yes,
Yeah.
face to face.
But when we go away, I'm just gonna say, yeah, man, that Jorge guy, oh, man, he's crazy. No, it's a very timely topic because of what's been happening in with the Hague and
Yes.
and all that. So in terms of another foreign experience, when you guys, this is a very well-known story that you were your band was connected to the Unidad Popular with
Yes.
Allende's government in terms of the songs and the cultural aspect. And how was that for you guys as a band to be very closely connected with the politics in Chile?
Well, actually, at that time, like results of the Chilean history, the workers' movement in Chile, I think I don't know exact figures, but I think 90% of artists, musicians, dancers, writers, was with Allende,
Right.
and
right.
was active in politics.
I would
at
say
that time.
90% is like really low.
Yes.
Because it's strange to think of any artists who would not be supportive of that government.
It's like this. I don't know now. Maybe not. But
Yeah.
at that time, yes. And the big problem that the right wing has in Chile, that they have not people in culture.
There's no artists.
So
Right-wing
few now some TV actors or yes,
Yeah.
but in general no, intellectuals so few.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you guys got to Europe, you were touring Europe. Do you remember where you were when?
Well, I
when
remember
the
exactly.
Where were you?
We were in the cupola of San Pedro, the St. Peter's in Rome,
In Rome.
in the top of the cupola.
Really?
Yes.
And how did you find out?
Arrived, a friend arrived running and went up the 800 steps to arrive to say that there were a putsch in Chile and
A coup d'état.
yes, a coup d'état.
That's insane, man. So what happened? What
Was-
was your experience with that when that happened?
Well, it's curious because we had not in our mind the experience of putsch.
Yeah, a coup.
In Chile, there
yeah.
were not people who can imagine what will happen.
Yeah.
It was not in our experience.
So it
It
just
was so difficult to realize what a coup means.
yeah. So the in terms of the aftermath, what did you do after that? I mean, obviously you came down from the
Yes. Well, we,
Or you were-
the
you guys
first
were.
the first reaction was to try to call to Chile was impossible. No telephone lines were able. We began to call other friends in Europe. The group Quilapayún was in Paris. We take contact with them and to coordinate because the news were terrible.
Right.
Were terrible. The Moneda Palace
The
was
bombing
bombing.
Yeah.
Many rumors. Some of them became reality, some not.
Right.
About people killed, friends of ours.
Yeah, there was no Twitter, there was no
No, at that time,
Facebook, nothing.
We went to the Foreign Press Association in Rome with a teletype,
Okay.
having the news
Wow.
there. Yes,
Wow. That must have been
and
amazing. experience.
at that time we were quite young.
Yeah, how old were you at that
I
time?
was 25 years old.
Okay.
And we had not also the I don't know, we were like a child
Yeah, you were very young.
without know what we do, what happened now with us and all of that. But
Wow.
Italian people help us very much, and all senator and all senator who was 17 years in jail with Mussolini received us, and he told us, well, I think that this was a long dictatorship.
Mhm.
You must stay here in Italy. Please stay here in Italy. We will help you, and because please don't think to go to the east of Europe.
Right.
It was, believe me, and he was a communist.
Okay.
Senator, yes, was
So don't-
Italian communist.
So yeah. So don't go over there.
Don't go
Yeah.
to some east countries. Stay here. Well, was a very good counsel.
Good decision.
Decision.
Excellent. We're going to take another break. Thanks, Jorge. We'll be right back.
Ignoro si Mario Abel dejó su ropa en el río, pero lo vieron desnudo anoche bajo el rocío. Anduvo la tarde entera amándose en el arroyo, con una morena que usa un vendaval en el rostro, desnudo como si Dios lo hubiese puesto al nacer, o como si la razón perdida por un querer, desnudo como el sabor del mango y el calistel, o como quien se olvidó de todo cuanto hay en él. Sospecho que Mario Abel dejó de ser un pecado, por la suerte de su piel caminando liberado. Anduvo la clara noche exacta de luna llena, llamando como un pregón pa' que la gente lo viera, desnudo como si Dios lo hubiese puesto al nacer, o como si la razón perdida por un querer, desnudo como el sabor del mango y el calistel, o como quien se olvidó de todo cuando hay en él. ¿Quién ha visto la ropa de Mario Abel?
Todo el mundo sospecha
De Mario Abel,
Las muchachas comentan
de Mario Abel,
La morena es la novia
de Mario Abel,
No me digas más nada
de Mario Abel.
Sí.
Siento que Mario Buen quiso romper la rutina y hacer por primera vez lo que soñaba en su vida. No importa si terminara en una celda del pueblo, la multa y el cálamo, pero sació su deseo. Desnudo como si Dios lo hubiese puesto a nacer, o como si la razón perdida por un querer, desnudo como el sabor del mango y el canistel, o como quien se olvidó de todo cuanto hay en él. ¿Quién ha visto la ropa de Mario Güey?
Yo no quiero que digan
De Mario Güey,
no me digan más cosas.
de Mario Güey,
La morena es la novia.
de Mario Güey,
No me digan más nada.
de Mario Güey.
Oye, alambre, dulce, sí, buena.
¿Quién ha visto la ropa de Mario Güey?
Todo el mundo sospecha.
De Mario Güey,
Las muchachas comentan.
de Mario Güey,
La morena es la novia.
de Mario Güey,
No me digan más nada.
de Mario Güey,
Yo no quiero que digan
de Mario Güey,
no me digan más cosas.
de Mario Güey, de Mario Güey, de Mario Güey, de Mario Güey,
Sí, como dice.
de Mario Güey. ¿Quién ha visto la ropa de Mario Güey?
Sabroso.
All right, thanks a lot, everybody, for coming out, and thanks again to Jorge Coulon from Inti-Illimani, from the band Inti-Illimani. And the name, what is it? What does the name mean again? It's the son of
It
the...
is the sun, the god sun,
Okay.
and Illimani is the name of a mountain over La Paz,
Okay.
La Paz city in Bolivia.
Do people in Chile know that? Do they always ask you what does that mean? Because it's a Quechua
Well,
name.
it's
right?
well, it's Aymara and
It's
Quechua.
Aymara,
Inti is in the both languages.
Okay.
It's the same. And Illimani is a Aymara name. Yes.
All right. Okay. And now what you... Sorry?
No, has not a meaning. Inti-Illimani is the name of this mountain.
It's the name of the mountain.
Yes.
So what is the story behind that mountain?
Well, it's a curious story. Like I told you, for the 6th August 1967, a musician who is his father was Bolivian, a guitarist, invite us to the fest in his home, and he gave us he and his sister gave us the name for this day.
Okay.
For this day, because we played
Just
but
for that day.
We had not name, and today your name is Inti-Illimani. Okay,
And that was it.
And we took the name.
It's great. In that time, when you guys were starting, I don't mean to always talk about those days because I mean but it's a very exciting time culturally.
Oh yes,
you come from
yes,
that,
yes,
and
yes.
that's your band was born in that time.
Yes, yes.
So I have
It's
to
a
ask.
time hard to die.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to get past it,
Yes.
right? But we talk about when you think about the '60s, you think about you think about cultural change, political change, social change, and
The change of values.
yeah, and
yes.
and you think about what was happening with everything, values. You're right, and the way of looking at things, especially with sex and drugs and
Yes.
music, right?
Yes.
And so in those times in Santiago, you could say that sometimes with the changes in technology, that a lot of these, there are also a lot of social changes happening now,
Yes.
right?
Well, yes.
And do you feel that same movement that happened back in the '60s is happening now, or is it very different in terms of
Well, it's in many ways it's similar, but it's it's a spiral.
Another level.
In another level, yes,
Right.
yes, because today the communication, social media, and all of that changed too much
Yeah.
the situation.
Do you have
in many ways make the people more loneless.
lonely? Yeah.
Yes, more lonely.
Do you have Facebook or Twitter? Or anything
Yes,
like that?
yes.
Yeah.
Well, I used to be an engineer.
An engineer.
And yes, and I have been always so curious about technology.
But you're an engineer?
Yes.
Really? And in
the
what?
technical university.
Oh, really?
It's today Universidad de Santiago.
But what type of engineer?
Electrical engineer.
Electrical
Yes,
engineer.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, I didn't. That was another thing. So you are musician, politician, electrical engineer, and in Italy you wrote a book in 1977.
Yes.
Right. So what was the book about? I was trying to read the title and I didn't understand it. Was it fiction or?
Well, I have a book. Maybe it's epigrams books. Sometimes it's poetry, but
Okay.
not always.
All right. And do you?
and I have three books actually. Then I wrote the book about Victor Jara,
Okay.
a little book for University of Santiago. That was my former university, and another was chronicle about 20 years of when we went back in Chile to the last day of government of the first Bachelet
Okay.
period. Yes,
The end of the first.
the end of
Bachelet?
the first period. Yes.
Okay. That and do you continue writing now?
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
But the problem with Twitter and Facebook is that you lost a lot of time
It's a big
right
time
in
waster.
there.
You know that's my new project for
Yes.
for the end of this year. I think I'm going to stop my data plan with Movistar, and I'm going to lose my phone as a
Yes.
computer. I don't want to have my phone as a computer anymore. It's it's a
Yes.
huge time
Yes,
waster.
It's incredible. Yes.
And like just
And it's exciting because you are always thinking, and it's fine. It's wonderful to answer someone and to
Yeah.
be in dialogue or in debate.
I know. I just
Yes.
I can't. But I'm like, oh, what happened last? I was sleeping and I wake
Yes.
up and I go, what the hell happened last night while I wasn't
See.
Connected? And
Well, the first thing you do in the morning. To see.
exactly.
I have friends in Italy and Europe,
Yeah.
and during the night they send me message. It's terrible. the first thing to do in the morning is
You know what
look who wrote you.
the crazy thing is? I still buy books. I'm still buying books, and they're piling up. I'm like, what the hell, man? I'm
it's
like,
true.
I'm buying these books, and I'm not reading them, and I'm like looking at my phone. It's because so I
Yes,
made the connection.
It's true.
And I said, no, this, I gotta get, this away and start
Yeah.
to, 'cause I enjoy reading. You know what?
Like in music, unplugged.
Exactly. Exactly, man. Well, what's happening right now with Inti-Illimani? Is it, are you still playing?
I'm still playing.
Okay.
Yes. The group is. I think it's. There were two great periods in the group. One musically and artistically. One was when we went back from Italy and Chile.
Okay.
Was so, and the years before, 3 or 4 years before, was the group was so solid musically and creative, and now. And now I think it's two times in the life group when the group is so play with a lot of authority,
A lot of passion.
a lot of passion. Yes,
Good.
it works very well.
Does it work?
It's
when,
like a Chilean national team of soccer.
It works well. It's starting to
Yes,
work.
well,
Well, that's great, man. I'm happy for you, and I'm really, really grateful that you came and shared with us here on Low Rent Radio. And thank you very much for coming in.
thank you.
All right. So that's it, folks. Low Rent Radio, thanks again for coming out and listening to this show. And wow, what a guy. Incredible, man. I mean, for a guy like that, you could just, I was mentioning to some of the guys around here that you could just talk to Jorge for 2 or 3 hours and forget. We went way over time, but he seemed to be okay with it. And wow, just a legend in Chilean music, which is, it's amazing for me. It's amazing to get the opportunity to talk to people that have been so intrinsically involved in Chilean culture as Jorge Coulon. So thank you for listening, and thank you to all the people that make this possible, especially our engineer here at Now Recording Studios, Carlos Concha, and the assistance of Danilo Sea. Also, we have Opato from Transmission, and Phil Moneypenny, the assistant producer, or the co-producer of this program, and many, many others. Thank you very much for coming and listening to this program. I don't want to say coming, you just turning on that thing or that phone or that piece of technological wizardry that you keep with you, turning it on and listening to this program. I hope that you can listen to more of us. So that's all we got. And take it easy out there wherever you are. And don't forget that Santa